games. And when you really think about it, that's not really so strange. But you would wonder if it's why the man was put on this earth. It's time to reevaluate how much a picture is worth. You can be informed and entertained. No need to explain, watch the review of the game. He is still gaming, and I'm pretty sure that it's something that won't ever change. He is still gaming, and he will for as long as he lives, as long as there are games.
Oh great, I've already used up the silly budget for the entire season! Anyway, I am Lee, and I am still gaming. I see a lot of new faces out there. You might want to get that lazy eye checked out. And I see some faithful old faces as well. Still Gaming is a show that reviews the great classic video games from the Atari to the PlayStation, as well as the games of the here and now, good and bad. I'm not a professional. I'm not a filmmaker. I just like to play games and talk about them. And in this stellar season of new game releases, one in particular that caught my eye was Fallout 3 for the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and PC. I gotta warn you, don't expect any comparisons between this and Fallout 1 and 2 or The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, because I haven't played any of them. Nope, none of them. Like a lot of the people that bought this game, I went into it going blind, wanting to judge the game on its own merits. Fallout 3 is definitely one of the most unique video games I've ever played.
War. War never changes.
At the beginning of the game, you start in Vault 101, a safe haven that people used 200 years ago to avoid that nuclear war that destroyed the world. The door was never to be opened again.
We are born in the vault, we die in the vault.
The game starts at childbirth, where you're able to choose your sex and appearance. At age 1, you choose your special attributes, which is where the whole RPG mentality started to set in for me. And there's a few more growth spurts before you hit age 19, where, well, the shit's the fan.
Oh no.
My father, who raised me by his lonesome for 19 years, decided one day, I'm going to leave this vault. See ya! Daddy Dearest became a daddy ditcher. My first thought was, fuck him! Well, I was ready to just stay in the vault for the rest of my life, but unfortunately, the leader of the vault decided I had something to do with it, and he wanted to have a talk with me. With a bullet to the brain, just like my father's friend. Why does the black guy always get murdered first? So, the leader's daughter, my best friend, gives me a gun and helps me escape. This is my home, so I try to hurt the fewest amount of people possible. Whoops. Finger slipped.
God, I could really use a drink right now.
Hey, Amada, I think this gun is defective. Oh! Oh man, how could this be any worse?
Oh my God! Daddy!
Oh, I'll come back later. Much later.
That wasn't very nice.
Eventually, I make it to the outside world, which turns out to be a desolate world of destruction, danger, and death. Damn! Thanks, Daddy! And this is where Fallout 3 becomes a truly immersive experience with a gigantic world begging to be explored. Your experience with this game will likely be very different than the next gamer's. While the main story quests are quite short, with half of it being completely optional, the real way to play this game is to just do your own thing. And that thing includes blowing the shit out of anything in your path. Well, it's not quite that way when you first start out. The game is definitely a challenge on its normal difficulty setting. Unlike most first-person shooter games, you are not a one-man army. If you're not extremely careful in this game, you will die. All that sneaking, all that running around while knocking at death's door. Nerve-wracking stuff, and I loved it. What I found very interesting was that the game appeals to not only first-person shooter gamers, but also fans of turn-based role-playing games. You're able to freeze time with a system called VATS, where you can choose an enemy and a specific body part to target. It really helps in situations where you're surrounded by pissed-off fire ants that breathe fire. But it's also pretty sweet to see limbs flying off in slow-mo. Damn, this game is gory. Limbs fly off at will. I guess the radiation made our bones as weak as peanut brittle or something. It did take me a while to get used to the fact that a simple headshot wasn't going to bring down anyone in a single hit. What with the whole RPG, imaginary dice rolling shit going on in the programming to determine damage to hit points to defense, whatever. You can gain experience by doing various things like completing quests or killing enemies, and eventually you level up with this experience, which lets you assign skill points to lots of different categories, then choosing a perk that has various results. Like, for instance, the Black Widow perk, which allows you to say, well, something like this.
Tell you what, handsome. Find me some quantum and we'll make it a threesome.
Yeah, totally worth it.
That civilization is a thing for me to
Post-apocalyptic Washington, D.C. How does it look? Well, it looks about as good as a post-apocalyptic wasteland can, I guess. Sepia tones all around. That's marketing speak for shit brown. The character models, especially for human characters, seemed a bit off. They just look really robotic in the way they talk. Oof, and let me tell you, Fallout 3 is buggy as all hell. I've got non-playable characters and enemies getting stuck running or walking in place. I don't know what the hell this is, but I know it's wrong. The story of Fallout 3 is not that great. It's not really good. Okay, it's terrible. You spend 80% of the story finding Daddy Ditcher. Something happens, some voice actors overact.
Lions! I know you're in there! I know you can hear me! You open this goddamn door right now!
One somewhat epic battle occurs, and just when you think you've gotten to about the 1/4 point, where you think, oh yeah, now the story's really gonna start, the game ends. And you get a slideshow voiced by Ron Perlman. The team lead of Fallout 3 promised something like 200 endings. What he meant was 200 permutations of different parts of sound bites. There's only like 3 or 5 real endings, and not a damn one of them was satisfying.
Oh, crap.
The story had pretty much lost me by about the 4th time I had just missed Deadbeat Daddy and had come across some more important characters of overacting. San Diego. I'm truly sorry, but Fallout 3 just has a bad case of D-gas. And, oh, what's D-gas? Don't give a shit syndrome. I don't give a shit about any of these characters. There's just nothing compelling about any of them whatsoever, especially Liam Neeson. I mean, Daddy. Suck my dick. And what's really bad is that Bethesda makes a really bad attempt at giving this game some sort of human element by throwing in a family here, a couple there, a few lesbian lovers, just to say, yeah, we're emotional. We have a few people with some voice dialogue that makes it really look like that they're really struggling. Yeah, we'll see how that works.
I'm as corny as
Hey, mom and daughter, how do you like Dad's new look?
What have you done?
Oh yeah, just run off in separate directions. Right. No matter what the experiment, this was always the result. The other family member, armed or not, would just run away. It may be a bit extreme for me to do this, but this game constantly gives you choices that affect your karma, with everything being black or white and never gray. If they've pre-programmed this family to sit in this spot at 9 a.m. to eat breakfast and talk about their lives, they should also be pre-programmed to know how to react to a crazy motherfucker with a sawed-off shotgun. Especially in a world full of psychopath road warrior rejects. There's a point early in the game where a man offers you a hefty sum to detonate a live, dormant nuke right in the middle of the first inhabited town of the game. A nice offer, but there's also a hooker there that says she'll sleep with my chick character for the right price. I don't want to miss out on that, so I pay her, and she goes up to the bed. I go up to the bed. She lays down. I lay down. Hours pass. She gets up and walks out. That's it? Bethesda? Really?
That one's gonna burn real good. Lots of critters. Critters burn good.
Fallout 3 is definitely one of the goriest games I've played in recent memory. Gore is awesome, but intimacy, like so much as holding hands is sick and wrong. Just feels like I'm interacting with a bunch of goddamn robots. How appropriate that the soldiers look like this. I really did like the music in this game. Well, what little of it there really was. There's some nice ambient music that plays in the background all the time, and it really just does a great job at setting the mood. They also play a few old-timey songs on the radio stations, and they're very nice songs. That, in a nutshell, is Fallout 3. I got about 40 hours under my belt, but there's so much more to explore and so much more to do. It'll probably take another 80 hours to do everything. The replay value is much higher than other games that have come out recently. This one's actually easily worth the full retail price. I really do think this game is loads of fun. Even though the story is terrible and the humans are just robotic garbage in this game, at its core, the game is still good, solid fun. This is Lee, signing off for Still Gaming.